make history on the PBA Tour today. For the first time ever, a Major League Baseball stadium plays host to a bowling event. It's the Miller High Life Masters presented by the American Bowling Congress from Miller Park in Milwaukee, normally home to the Milwaukee Brewers. Today it belongs to four of the world's best bowlers competing for $100,000, and they are ready to roll. Hello and welcome everyone to what truly is an opening day for the PBA here on ESPN. A brand new season starts today. Dave Ryan alongside my partner again, Randy Peterson. We're here at Miller Park in Milwaukee, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, Randy, the Brewers had some problems this year, didn't make the playoffs in the NL Central. In fact, they were in last place. But our four bowlers are the very top of the PBA world, bidding for $100,000, the coveted two-year exemption. And what a chance to be part of history, too, a unique setting here.
This truly is the biggest event and the biggest setting our sport has ever seen. And out of the 577 players that started this event earlier in the week, well, they all wish they could be here today. But only the best, the top four, the best four out of the 577 made it to today's stepladder finals. In match number one, fourth seed Patrick Allen, our lone lefty, takes on the third seed and 1999 Masters champion Brian Boghosian. The winner of that match will take on Patrick Healey Jr., looking to win his second major championship in the last 10 months. The winner of that match will face our tournament leader, Danny Wiseman, looking to win his first major championship ever. And Dave Ryan, quite frankly, in the match play portion of this tournament, which was double elimination, 3-game matches, Danny Wiseman was unstoppable. In fact, in his last match, the last game, he shot .289 to lock up the #1 seed today.
Big question whether or not Danny Wiseman can stay hot here at the ABC Masters. Only one bowler of our four has an ABC Masters title. That's Brian Boghosian, who's joined now by the third member of our crew. Laneside, here's Beth Mullins.
Thank you very much, Dave. Well, Brian Boghosian, you did in fact win this title 5 years ago, and a little luck always helps. What superstition has helped carry you on this Halloween weekend?
Well, this week we have a little bit of a superstition with the left field foul pole. My good friend Chris Rebstock, he touched the pole on Tuesday, and he was the high qualifier of the day. And I thought to myself, I'm going to touch the pole too. It worked for him. Sure enough, came back the next day and bowled great, and been bowling good ever since.
Well, best of luck to you, Brian. Looking to become the first amateur to win 2 major titles. Dave?
That would be exciting. Instant karma? Well, it is for Brian Boghosian, that's for sure. The Red Sox defeated those hated Yankees down 3-0. They won 8 straight games to take the World Series title. Patriots over the Jets. That was just a recent victory for the Pats to keep that long win streak going. Now Patrick Allen, who's from very close to New York City, Tarrytown, about 30 miles away from the Big Apple, trying to reverse the trend of New Yorkers taking it over New Englanders. Brian Boghosian coming to us from the Berkshires, Western Massachusetts. Great start, Patrick Allen, opening our 2004-2005 PBA season in style, 10 down in the pit.
And a great shot with all things being considered. The venue, this baseball stadium, I mean, we've never been in this type of venue before or environment. Patrick Allen gets up and just shreds the rack.
The one amateur in our event. Brian Boghosian comes in high and leaves a split. A tough start for him. Who has won a Masters title, as Beth talked about with Brian.
Not a great start, but better to do it in the first frame than the last. Cuts right through the heart of the pins, and Brian leaves the 4-6-7.
Got to kick it across the deck. And take out that lone standing pin. 2 of the 3 stands. That's what's left. Baby Ruth, real deal matchup, our first of the season. PA against Brian Boghosian.
And really all you have to look at is right here, the average. Brian Boghosian averaging 12 pins a game higher than Patrick Allen. And Patrick Allen said himself last night to us, Dave, he was lucky to be here. He barely got through matches.
These two have never matched up on TV before. Boghosian, in fact, has not faced any of the other 3 on television. 10 pin.
Week 10 to be exact. Brian Boghosian, a down and in style player. And I think that's why Brian's had a lot of success in Masters tournaments. Remember, he's the 1999 Masters champion. He likes to go real straight and real direct, and that's always favorable when you're bowling on a tough lane condition.
Great numbers. Single pin conversion and takes care of the 10 there. Brian just turned 40 years old, October 26th, the same day as beloved Red Sox won Game 3 of the World Series against the Cardinals. Early numbers, though, the Red Sox backer is down by 11 pins.
And talking about baseball, Patrick Allen is a huge baseball aficionado. He was rolling off rosters left and right last night to you and I, Dave.
They're actually on now. I don't think they were even on
A
before.
walking encyclopedia of baseball knowledge.
Able to bring out the 1991 New York Mets starting lineup when we asked him something random. Last night in our meeting with him, bidding for his first ever major title, has won 2 of the standard championships we saw. The lone lefty in the pocket perfectly. A flush strike.
And Patrick Allen last night told us that physically he's not sharp. He was just getting by.
1 second, huh?
He was going to work on a couple things, and the key today for him was to keep his right side quiet.
Gotta go.
That shot there was perfect. Off to a great start. Early double.
Patrick telling us at times the arm swing has not been as sound as he'd like it to be. Looks pretty sharp here.
Yeah, it sure does. And with him being the only left-hander playing that side of the lane, if he breaks down a little spot for him, he could be really tough to beat today. Notice the great balance. He knows it's a great shot as soon as it leaves his hand, and he reacts accordingly. Now Brian Boghosian needs to get on his horse and start striking.
Very quickly. That's the right path. Back in 1999, Syracuse, New York, the on-center in downtown Syracuse, he won his ABC Masters title over Parker Bone III in the final, and he has plenty of TV experience. So with so much on the line, $100,000, you see the points, PBA Tour points. Keep in mind that Brian is not part of the PBA. He's an amateur and competes in several non-PBA related events like this one, the ABC Masters. And if he wins it, he does not get the 2-year exemption. He's not on the tour. Way high.
Brian Boghosian, to me, does not look comfortable, and I think it shows in the first 4 frames, this ball going high, leaving the 3-6-10. Really the only good shot he's thrown was the 3rd frame. And the 3-6-10 is not the kind of spare you want to shoot at in this environment.
Multi-pin conversion numbers you saw bottom of your screen. 10-pin stands for Brian Boghosian at open, and that is deadly. Had a chance to talk with Brian during warm-ups. He really didn't seem comfortable in this setting today, Randy.
And he doesn't look, you know, Brian Boghosian's a really good bowler, and he doesn't make these kinds of mistakes. But it's amazing what pressure does to the mind. You start thinking about things that you shouldn't be thinking about, and it makes the body react in different ways.
Four in a row. What a start for Patrick Allen, who had a very good first half of last season. The victory in Philadelphia.
Trying to keep his hand slightly up the back to keep the ball on line. He said he never played anywhere other than in between the second and third arrow on his side of the lane all week long.
It says Randy after that win in Philly, despite the fact he was 6th on the tour in strike percentage, 2nd in average behind Player of the Year Mika Koivuniemi. Really a tough second half for him. So a lot of desire as he leaves the 7 there for a good start to this brand new tour season.
And a tough second half of the year because he said he fell into a rut of him not feeling like he could win matches. He would make it to match play, and then he just wouldn't win. He wouldn't win. He would lead the qualifying, get knocked out in the first round. Patrick Allen very good at single pin spare conversion as he tries to convert the week 7 he left.
Takes care of that. Last year, very effective season for him, though. Made a career high 4 TV shows. Was 3-3 on those shows. New feature of our 4 major broadcasts this year, the slow motion, Randy.
Yeah, and you can see that that ball starts at the third arrow on the left side, and it goes over the brown board about 40 feet down the lane, which is the 10th board on his side. So again, keeping that same thing going, keeping it in between second and third arrow.
A little bit high in the pocket for Boghosian, but he'll gladly take a strike there. He was one of 6 amateurs who have won the ABC Masters, along with Rick Steelsmith, Ken Johnson, Steve Fair, Jason Queen, and Brett Wolf. He did that a couple years back in Reno at the National Bowling Stadium. Asked him yesterday about having won a Masters already. Was it a big advantage? He felt like it could be. But look at the setting here. A huge crowd. A baseball stadium. It's tough. High again.
Yeah, and right now, to use a little Boston Red Sox rhetoric, he needs to go wicked hard because his ball speed looks too soft, and every time he lets go of it, it's cutting right through the heart. But I think the thing that is real important to note is that Brian Boghosian, when he won, he stayed in the same venue for the television show. This week, we bowled the qualifying at another center, took the venue to Miller Park, 2 completely different arenas.
We will have the conclusion of the Allen Boghosian match, the first here at our season opener from the Miller High Life Masters. We're at Miller Park, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. History being made on the PBA Tour. It is opening day. The lefty, PA, looks good early on. Happy Halloween to all. Some very creative costumes out there. And, of course, the Packerbackers, their beloved team, is playing as we speak. Randy, the oil pattern today, different than the normal PBA patterns we see in a standard event.
It sure was. It's 39 feet of slick goo, which forced the players to play the outside part of the lane because the middle part of the lane hooked. The righties are going to stay around right here. Patrick Allen, 14th board, to about second arrow. But what's going to happen is the right-handers are going to break down the front part of the lane, but Patrick Allen is going to have a nice, smooth, fresh surface on that side. Advantage, Patrick Allen.
We had 577 bowlers here competing in 7,230 total games. And guess what? 2 perfect games, one from Jason Couch in the second round and one from Brian Boghosian. Now, that 300 club is not the same as 300 Bowling Club, but hey, we're at Miller Park here in Milwaukee, home of the Brewers, and it's an honor to hit 300 and to have a 300 game in either sport. PA is on, Randy, no doubt about it.
Well, he's grooved himself a nice little spot there during warm-ups. And obviously, on this type of pattern, Execution is a must. You have to execute shots. You have to make good shots. But if you can build up just a little bit of room, and I'm talking an inch, professionals will take advantage of that. That's what Patrick Allen's doing now. The swing's nice and free, and obviously very, very comfortable with his ball reaction.
5 out of 6 strikes. Goes for 6 or 7. That's high.
You can see that ball was right of target off his hand. It was inside the third arrow. There is no way that ball is going to hold its line. Goes through the nose, leaves the 2-4-7. Same spare that Brian Boghosian missed for a right-hander back in the 4th frame.
Saw the multi-pin numbers, over 95%. On lefties, the oil breaks down here. Picks up his mark. We talked to PA just before the show today, Randy, about how the lanes are responding. He said, I'm very comfortable. I like the path I'm creating in the oil as the lone left-hander. It's always interesting when you have the southpaw out there to see how the oil develops as the match progresses.
Right-handed dominance last year against left-handers, but that was because most of the shows had more than one left-hander. You get more than one left-hander on their side of the lane, they move the oil around, their shot becomes inconsistent, just like the right side of the lane. If you can get one left-hander on that side building his own trough, he's going to be very tough to beat. We saw it when Mika Koivuniemi won the Cambridge Credit Classic last year, shooting 300. He was the only right-hander, and he mauled the field.
Brian Boghosian picks up his mark. Now things are a little bit different from last year with our field of 64, trying to get to that point. Now we're up to 40 remaining exemptions coming from a point list and multi-year exemptions. 4 major champions from last year are exempt for this year and beyond, and we'll have 7 regional points leaders in next year's exempt field from the 7 regions. So we'll have a new look to it for that exempt field of 64. Big strike, Boghosian. Brian will not be part of that exempt field because he is not a PBA Tour card-carrying member.
And quite honestly, Dave, the only thing the players are looking at right now are 2 things: winning and making the top 40, period.
Another chance for someone to gain exempt status for next season. That's next week. Vernon Hills, Illinois, just outside Chicago. Last year was Brian Himmler defeating Mika Koivuniemi 230-215 in the title match. Who will it be this year? Find out Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 on the West Coast. The ESPN coverage of the PBA Tour continues. Event number 2. We have a new schedule this year as well. Find out. Finish up with 2 exciting majors. World Championship, TOC in April. Patrick Allen, flush in the pocket again.
Steady Eddie Patrick Allen, we watched him last night have huge leads, only to watch those leads vanish in the 9th and 10th frames of his matches. However, he was good enough to hold on and good enough to make key shots in the 10th frame to win matches.
We are in front of this huge crowd playing a stepladder format, folks. Started with 4 bowlers. Only 1 will stand. Automatic 2-year exemption. $100,000. First place prize. Patrick Allen hopes it's him. With shots like that, he may just get there. It looks like he's got this one sewn up. Who's going to bowl next in the bullpen at Miller Park, home of the Brewers? Yes, it's Patrick Healey Jr., who won a major last year. In fact, the TOC over my partner. You bowled so well that week, buddy, in Connecticut. But Patrick won his first ever major at the Tournament of Champions in Uncasville.
Brian Boghosian's a great bowler, otherwise he wouldn't be here, but today he just didn't have it and ran into a buzzsaw by the name of PA.
Patrick has wrapped this one up, folks. He will advance on to compete with Patrick Healey Jr. He's 0-1 against Healey Jr. in the 2002 Earl Anthony Classic out in the Great Northwest. The only time they have met on TV. It happens again today here, coming up from Milwaukee, but a much bigger setting. This is a major championship, so much money, and a unique historic perspective. More than 5,000 fans expected. There's a chance we could set an all-time PBA Tour attendance record. Over 7,000. As Boghosian finishes up, that was set back in the mid-90s at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. 7,200 and change. Also at a major. Great experience for Brian Boghosian. Tries to win his second ever Masters, but gets this far. And all the folks watching back home, New England Bowlers Association, he wanted to say hello to, have got to be pleased with this showing.
Yeah, and I've actually been to one of their events. It's a phenomenal tournament. And tournaments that they put on throughout the year.
Brian works for one of our title sponsors, Cambridge Credit Counseling in Western Massachusetts. He was 21 years old, was thinking about joining the PBA Tour as PA finishes up. 7-pin there. But Brian said financially wasn't sure if I could afford going out on tour, wasn't confident enough in his game at that point. Now later in life, he's 40. He likes the balance of bowling in some amateur events, ABC tournaments, and still having a standard professional life.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to say Brian Boghosian, an amateur, in the same breath, because he does awfully well and makes pretty good money bowling these mini tournaments, the Masters, going out to Vegas for some of the tournaments out there. And this could have ended a career. Just ask Kurt Schilling, but PA was able to stay on balance, and of course he will be called safe.
Sliding, not something you want to do a lot of in the sport of bowling, I wouldn't think. For the Milwaukee Brewers, that's normal here at Miller Park, but not for Patrick Allen, who in style blasts Brian Boghosian in the first match stepladder format of our ABC Masters Championship. 238, 153. We'll learn much more about Patrick coming up in the Miller six-pack with Randy Peterson. But right now, they're going to the bullpen. Patrick Healey Jr. rides in for the bullpen next.
I don't know where it came from.
What a setting here at the Miller High Life Masters, presented by the American Bowling Congress. The Masters coming to Milwaukee for the first time since 1952. We're being welcomed back by Los Straitjackets, a nationally known rock and roll band. Doing a great job for us today. Coming up soon, our second match of the day, which pits the number 2 seed Patrick Healey Jr. against the winner of match number 1, Patrick Allen. Keeping up with a baseball theme, Randy goes deep with Patrick Allen in this week's Miller six-pack. The feeling he's a sports fan. Great segment there with Randy Peterson. On the road, our 2004-05 PBA Tour schedule. Chicago Open's coming from suburban Chicago, Chicagoland, Vernon Hills, Illinois, next week. And the Uniroyal Tire Classic in Wickliffe, Ohio, that is near Cleveland. Don't forget, folks, we saw in the Chicagoland area as well, there are 3 different spots for the Pro-Ams to sign up. You'll have the top PBA players with you. Head to www.pba.com for all the latest information on the PBA Tour. New features on the site allow you to register to bowl in programs, purchase tickets for upcoming tour stops, and view archive PBA telecast. All that and more at pba.com. Great matchup coming up just moments away. Patrick Healey Jr. 1-0 against PA on TV so far. Trying to continue the trend next. What a scene here at Miller Park, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. The first time the PBA Tour is open with a major since the 1997 Tournament of Champions. On Halloween. Ooh, that's spooky. Hey, Brian, Randy Peterson, Beth Mullins, lane side. with Patrick Healey Jr., the #2 seed, going for his first ever Masters.
Thank you very much, Dave. Well, Patrick, you won at the Tournament of Champions last year for your first major. How will that experience, do you think, help you in this environment today?
Well, with any major, I mean, the conditions are difficult on purpose, and it gives me confidence to know that I did it once and I can do it again, as well as the arena setting. I enjoy this, so I feel very confident about it.
All right, thank you very much, Patrick. Dave?
Patrick told us he's bowled in more than 14 ABC Masters he can recall in his career, and getting to the round of 8 this year was the best he's ever done. So he's made some history already as he tries to win his second ever major and his second in a 12-month span. December, the Dexter Tournament of Champions in Connecticut took care of our very own Randy Peterson. An exciting final. Now from the Metroplex of Dallas. High. And a little split to deal with.
Nowhere near the same.
Judging by that first shot that Pat Healey Jr. just threw, he was way inside, and that ball had no chance of holding its line to the 1-3 pocket. It goes high, leaving the 310. The idea here is to cover both pins with the bowling ball.
Same level look at it, and an open to start the match for Patrick Healey Jr. He was really surprised with the way the ball reacted.
This is the same
On the first shot.
Catches too much of the 3-pin and not enough to deflect that spare ball into the 10. And right now, Dave Ryan, it looks to me like Patrick Allen has a big advantage in terms of lane conditions. Looks like his side stayed pretty good. It looks like the right-handers may have blown their pattern out.
Staying hot, Patrick Allen. Pretty interested in the feature we saw a few moments ago, Randy, with you, about the choice of with whom he'd like to dine. Men, women in history, dead or alive, 3 recent sports stars. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Napoleon. I mean, there are a lot of choices there.
Yeah, and he took Jason Couch. Now, no offense, Jay's a buddy of mine, but I mean, I think I could go with Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods or Jack Nicklaus.
He is focused on sports, no doubt about it. Baby Ruth, real deal matchup, Randy. The 2 Patricks.
Well, we showed you Brian Boghosian and PA. Brian Boghosian out-averaged PA by 12. Well, Pat Healey Jr. out-averaged him by 16. However, I think that's going to flip-flop in this match.
He liked it much better off the hand, and he's in the pocket.
Well, take a look here at where Brian Boghosian was playing. Now, even though he's straighter and firmer than Patrick Healey, he's still playing outside second arrow. Starts around second arrow, drifts out to about the 7th, 8th board.
What a great feature for our 4 major telecasts this year. Slow motion. Really get a chance to see the path of that ball. Gets a break.
Showed you where Brian Boghosian was playing. Pat Healey Jr. obviously much further left. First shot that he threw where he went high, he changed balls and went a little bit straighter.
I didn't touch it. No.
He came away with a double.
Wow. That's an elaborate outfit.
Is that you?
It was not me, thankfully. Presented by Miller Lite. Sunday Night Football coming up. 49ers and the Bears tonight, 8:30 Eastern Time here on ESPN. Also available on ESPN HD. It all starts NFL Primetime presented by Miller Lite, 7:30 Eastern Time. 49ers, Bears, 2 teams that have really struggled trying to get something going in the NFC. Patrick Allen, 7-pin.
Pretty good shot here. He's going to leave a weak 7, but you know what? I'll take this all day long on this stuff. He liked it out of his hand.
Pretty close to perfect single pin conversion numbers.
That would be a balk here at Miller Park.
That's a baseball term that applies to bowling, right?
Absolutely.
There's a 25-second shot clock. That's to Pat's left.
I think it was somebody howling. Maybe one of the trick-or-treaters with the werewolf mask.
We've got ghosts and ghouls everywhere at Miller Park today. Despite the momentary delay, Marks there with a 7 pin.
No problem, buddy. No problem. Take your time. I heard it. I heard it. Yeah, you're right.
We've got some incredible costumes. Happy Halloween to all. Hope you're having a safe and happy Halloween so far. Trick-or-treating in the East should get going just a couple of hours, right?
What are you going as?
PBA broadcaster.
and a fine one, I may add. Or, well, at least in this book, pal, you're the best.
7 pin again for Patrick Allen.
You know, I think if I were to go trick-or-treating, I would want to go as Darth Vader.
And why is that?
I'd want a real lightsaber, too.
Can we get back to the bowling?
Okay. PA leaving back-to-back week 7s. And all that is
trend.
all that is a little adjustment with speed. Just a pinch softer, that ball will turn the corner a little harder.
We saw Brian Boghosian, the huge Red Sox fan. It was tough for PA to watch his Yankees, beloved Yankees, go down. We heard he wished he could have dinner with Don Mattingly and Andy Pettit. Those two his 3 choices. So that must have stung. Big lifestyle change for Patrick Healey as well. Trying to coax that ball into the pocket, but it's hot.
Yeah, and anytime you hear a player say push, that means they pulled it and they're trying to get the ball to lay off so it doesn't go high. On this pattern, ABC lane conditions, the ball won't push.
Over the summer, Patrick and his wife Teresa, stepson Victor, moved from Mexico City, Mexico to Flower Mound, Texas. And a chop, look out. Another open for Patrick Healey Jr.
Well, he slips right here, and then he pulls it just a pinch, and then he chops the 3 straight off the 6 pin with a plastic ball.
Something a lot of the bowlers, Randy, were worried about. We talked to them during warm-ups. These are brand new lanes here. They didn't bowl on these lanes at all during all the qualifying. A different bowling center here in suburban Milwaukee. Several talked about trouble with footing on the approach.
The first ball that Pat Healey Jr. threw on the left lane wasn't very successful. Look how deep inside he was. Well, since then he's made a much straighter move, getting the ball further to the right. Yeah! And he's been much more successful, with the exception of the missed spare in the 4th frame.
PA tries to stay hot. Lush in the pocket, 10 down to pit. Patrick Allen has been on. Patrick telling us last night to win a major would be an incredible career accomplishment. He's won 2 PBA Standard Tour titles, but a major is something that will go in the record books forever, something everyone will remember to distinguish him as a great champion.
Without question.
That's high.
You know,
2 of the 4 remain.
And the other thing, on the PBA Tour for as long as I can remember, there was always this battle between left-handers and right-handers and lane conditions and all this other garbage. But the fact of the matter remains that Patrick Allen is making a statement that not only is he the best left-hander on tour right now, and I know that Parker and Jason will both argue with me with that, but he's one of the best bowlers, period, on the tour.
Picks up the mark. Patrick Allen on his way to facing Danny Wiseman for the ABC Masters title. More on the way. Perfect ball, 60 feet to success for Patrick Healey Jr. Amazing to think he's in this spot after the 2 opens.
He's in this spot because he peered this one. He's been making great shots. Those eyes never left the target, and that ball is perfectly flushed, and he knows now the onus is on PA.
5-bagger for Healey Jr. Allen hopes for the turkey ball. It's for 3 in a row. Gets it.
The PA looks emotionless now, but with 2 more strikes in the 10th frame and 8 pins, PA will shut out Pat Healey Jr.
Patrick bowled in and competed very well in some regionals over the summer. The offseason, Randy told us last night, a few matches I had to step up in the 9th and 10th frames and strike to win key matches. So he's in that competitive mode. So on the left arm. Delivers again.
Takes advantage of the huge break when he crossed over and went Brooklyn on this very lane. And now Patrick Allen is 1 strike and 8 pins away from bowling for his first major championship ever.
He has made an ABC Masters final. 93 as an amateur. Lost to Norm Duke in the championship match. Trying to get back. Another huge strike. Just needs 8 here to clinch it. What a finish for PA. Victory here puts him in the final against the top seed Danny Wiseman, who did not lose. Perfect record coming in to today's show. He'll take 10 instead. Patrick Allen is into the final. He's clinched at least the $50,000 second place prize.
And PA gets up in the 9th and 10th frame, shows some ill skill, and just makes a 6 shot for the win right here. A little break, okay, trips the 6 out, but it was good enough to be a winner.
That's how you started.
What a finish.
Someone today, Randy, here in Milwaukee will win his first ever major championship. Either Danny Wiseman, the top seed, or a very relieved left-hander, Patrick Allen. Nice pickup there for Patrick Healey, whose stepson Victor is watching back at home in the Metroplex of the Dallas area. 3 of Victor's friends made the trip from Mexico to visit their buddy today in the Healey Jr. household.
Great week for Patrick Healey Jr. And off to a great start this season.
Danny Wiseman, Patrick Allen are set to go head-to-head. He's 1-0. Is Allen against Wiseman. A title match last year in Philly. This big title match is next. Miller Park, the home of the Milwaukee Brewers, hosting such stars as Ben Sheets and Lyle Overbay. Today, hosting PBA tour styles. Los Straitjackets complete in their outfits. Our house band doing a great job for us here this afternoon in Milwaukee, the nationally known recording artists. Don't forget, Monday night on Monday Night Countdown, presented by UPS, 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 the West Coast. They will get you ready for the big Monday Night Football game. Stuart Scott teams up with analyst Tom Jackson, Mike Liver, and Ron Jaworski, all leading into the Dolphins and Jets on ABC. The Jets won at Miami earlier this year. Jets coming off their first loss to the New England Patriots, continuing their incredible streak. Dolphins coming off their first win. Big game coming your way. Miller High Life Masters presented by the ABC. It's Allen and Wiseman head-to-head, $100,000, a two-year trial, two-year exempt tour as well on the line. Now let's talk about the PBA Tour Trials just this past summer. After a nerve-wracking PBA season filled 50 spots on this year's exempt tour, 9 positions remain. 117 bowlers arrived at Stardust Bowl in Maryville, Indiana back in June for the first ever PBA Tour Trials.
And with this week being so instrumental and life-changing, it you know, you can't describe it. It's just a very difficult situation to be in and intense.
I told a couple of my friends at home it's the first time in my bowling career that I've ever actually been nervous about bowling a bowling tournament.
The competitors included PWBA champions Kelly Kulick and Kendra Gaines, who are trying to become the first women to qualify for a PBA Tour card, and a large international contingent as bowlers from 7 countries were there as well. PBA titleist Mike Edwards made things easy on himself, taking an early lead on the field and never looking back. He led from day one of the competition and regained his PBA status with a convincing finish.
These 5 days were just like magic for me. That's the best I've ever bowled in my entire life. For 5 days straight, that was just absolute career rounds there.
Tour members Shannon Buchan, Patrick Gerard, Brian Kretzer, and Mike Wolf enter the final day in good shape, and none faltered. They were able to breathe a sigh of relief, while around them the pressure mounted. The 45th and final game saw 5 bowlers competing for the final 4 spots. Eugene McCune had plenty of support.
I was shaking. I was just thinking about, you know, how hard he worked all week, and it'd be a shame if, you know, one ball cost him.
McCune persevered and struck in the 10th to lock himself in. That left 4 men in thrilling battle for the last 3 spots. Richie Allen struggled, while Bill Rowe, Jim Pratt, and Dave Traber were up to the challenge. When Traber struck out in the 10th to throw a .290, he was back on tour for a 22nd season. The enormity of the event was not lost on anyone.
The 10th frame was the most unbelievable thing I've ever witnessed. I mean, been a part of. That after 45 games that there were that many guys that had a shot at it was just incredible.
Among the veterans and titleists who did not qualify, the disappointment was obvious.
There's only one emotion right now. I mean, I'm demoted. Yes, I'm upset I don't have a job, but, you know, the flip side of that is I absolutely do love what I do and would do it again in a minute. Absolutely in a minute.
For the 9 members of the PBA Tour Trials class, though, there was relief, elation, and anticipation for the upcoming season. Thank you, and thanks to the commissioner and Tom Baker. What a moment it was for him last March. Danny Wiseman hoping for a great moment himself, bids for his first major championship next. We are back, Miller High Life Masters presented by the American Bowling Congress. And we are getting set for our championship match. Danny Wiseman, Patrick Allen going head-to-head. Don't forget next week, Suburban Chicago. ESPN's coverage of the PBA Tour continues. Top bowlers on tour. Trying to roll strikes in the lane at the Chicago Open, 1 o'clock Eastern time. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Incredible atmosphere here as the capacity crowd is ready. But first, Randy, let's look at the Geico Direct Championship recap.
Earlier in match 1, it was Patrick Allen defeating Brian Boghosian by the score of 238 to 153. PA opened with a 4-bagger and never looked back. Then in match number 2, it was Patrick Allen defeating Patrick Healey Jr. by the score of 248 to 219. PA took huge advantage of a Brooklyn that helped him to win. Setting up a great championship match for the Miller High Life Masters title between PA and Danny Wiseman.
Last year, Randy, in the PBA Tour event, Philadelphia, 200 to 178 final. When these two went head-to-head, Patrick Allen lefty got a victory over Danny Wiseman. But now, a much different setting. So much on the line. The lefty versus righty. Different matchup. Who does it favor right now?
Well, you know, watching Danny for the last couple of days in this tournament, I didn't think there was anybody that could beat him coming into today. But after watching Patrick Allen in the first 2 matches, I think Patrick Allen's going to give Danny all he wants.
Let's get the thoughts of our 2 finalists here in the big event, the ABC Masters, with Beth Mullins, laneside.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. Well, Patrick Allen, do you feel like over the course of the first 2 matches you've been able to gain some momentum that you can carry into the final with you?
Well, Danny bowled great the whole week. You know, he bowled so much better than I did, you know, and I'm just fortunate to be here, and he looks good, so I'm going to have to keep bowling well and try and see what happens.
Thank you very much, Patrick. And Danny, what was the most difficult part for you having to watch and wait your turn here for the bowl?
Just basically seeing what's going on with the lanes. I mean, it's a whole different environment. It's awesome. I mean, the fans, everybody coming. Thank you for coming out. I just, you know, just making a decision and just go with it. That's basically it. Thanks, Patrick. I always look good, brother.
All right, thank you very much, Danny. Dave, back up to you.
Beth, he's always confident. He is always a showman. Patrick Allen will get things going. They are playing for that trophy along with a $100,000 first place prize, the 2-year PBA Tour exemption. As Beth talked about with Danny, he's had to sit and wait out of the bullpen for a while, warming up.
Really, right now, though, the only thing that matters for Danny Wiseman is what type of ball reaction did he find during warm-ups.
6-pin for PA stands.
And almost a big, ugly split right now. Today, things going PA's way. Key Brooklyn to take care of Pat Healey Jr. right now, tripping the split out to avoid the open frame if he were to convert, which he should do quite easily. Straight and firm with a plastic ball at the 6-pin.
Lane level look at it from our great crew here in Milwaukee. And a good start for Patrick Allen. Gets his mark. Now it's Danny Wiseman from just outside Baltimore, who has 10 titles. A new look, Danny Wiseman. Dedicated himself to fitness. Has a personal trainer. Starting in June, worked out 5 times a week. Something he'd never done before. His tournament starts now. In the final and in style. Maybe a real deal matchup, Randy. How do these 2 stack up?
Well, the theme remains the same, Dave. It's the average factor, but it hasn't seemed to bother Patrick Allen at all today. Although with that first shot that Danny Wiseman just threw, this is going to be one of the most exciting matches you will ever see. Take a look at Danny Wiseman's index finger. He used to spread that index finger, which would help him to rotate around the bowling ball. He can no longer do that because of pain. He has to keep that finger in. He can't spread it out. And now he bowls pain-free. He says it's changed his role ever so slightly, all for the better. Just outside second arrow, about the 8th board at the break point. That's about the 40, 42-foot line or mark down the lane. 6 goes the wall, snaps the 10 out. Great start, Danny Wiseman.
With the double to get things going. The injuries, one reason Danny wanted to get going with physical fitness this year. Saw the big numbers. He's been hot. However, the big 4 stands. 4, 7, 6, 10 for Patrick Allen.
And this was the last thing that I thought Patrick Allen would do today. Obviously, his shot starting to break down ever so slightly. He needs to make a major league adjustment right here and now.
Try to kick the 4-7 across the deck to the 6-10. Can't. Early open, and the way Wiseman has been bowling, so confident. That could prove to be disastrous. However, as we saw in the last match, Patrick Healey Jr. rebounded from a couple of opens of his own to make things close. $100,000, 37,000 plus points. 2-year exemption as well for one of these 2 bowlers, and a first ever major title will go to the winner. 7.
In a title match of a major championship, after you've been on a run and you get up in the second frame and you open, it's like somebody punching you right in the gut. Just knocks the wind out of you, especially when your opponent is perfect through 2 frames. Patrick Allen needs to gain his composure and figure out a way to get all 10 pins into the pit.
Takes the 7. Last year's ABC Masters in Reno. Patrick Allen did make that show. He finished 5th, lost in the first game to Mika Koivuniemi, 214 to 173. Danny Wiseman told us last night there has been a little pain in that right hand this week with all the games and the grueling schedule to get this far. So many frames under his belt. But overall, he feels great.
And the one thing that I like that Danny's doing right now, Dave, is that he's not trying to overhype the hype. You know, you watch Danny on television a lot of times. He gets very animated. He gets really hyped. He loves this setting. 10-5 in arena matches. Arena finals, I should say. But right now, I love what he's doing. He's keeping his composure. He's not getting out of his mental psyche or getting too amped up. This will allow him to make good quality shots.
So dedicated to improving his game. And it's all paid off working with his personal trainer, Sam Donna, back in Baltimore. A digital camera with movie capabilities to track all of his perfect shots, like that one. With a 4-bagger to start the match, Danny Wiseman has been rocking and rolling over Patrick Allen in the final of the ABC Miller High Life Masters. Like most straight jackets, our house band has been rocking us all day. Speaking of that, Randy Peterson, let's get to the Euro Tire rock and roll.
Patrick Allen, second shot in the 10th frame of his last match, rocked the house with this picture-perfect strike, vaulting him to the title match against Danny Wiseman.
Our first Euro Tire rock and roll of the new PBA Tour season, which makes history today, debuting at Miller Park, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. On the shore of Lake Michigan here in Wisconsin. Patrick Allen, down 46. Does have a mark to work with here. The time is now for him. .47.
Patrick Allen is in serious trouble. And that great reaction that he had in the first 2 matches has gone bye-bye.
Takes care of the 4-7. However, as we take a look at Kelly Wall, brand manager, Miller High Life, our title sponsor of the ABC Masters. Our first event of the season. It's a major, and Patrick Allen knows he is struggling. Boy, he didn't like that at all upon release. Was hoping for a Brooklyn strike crossing over the head pin, but it was very strange to see a 5-pin standing from a PBA Tour player.
And this was just a total grab at the bottom of the swing, and that's why Patrick Allen turned away from it. You can see that's about 3 boards right of target. No chance of holding the line on this pattern. Patrick Allen is in a place right now, Dave Ryan, that is every professional bowler's or athlete's worst nightmare. They're very uncomfortable, they don't like the reaction, and they can't pry it off their hand with a crowbar.
5-8. Don't hear that often, and this level does take care of the mark. And a little sarcastic cheer for himself. Danny Wiseman, folks, an incredible story. was very near leaving Milwaukee. He was not bowling well at the start of this tournament. 14 under, barely made the first cut, and checked into flights to go back home to Baltimore, but couldn't find one. Imagine that. He almost went home, left the tournament before getting here to the final day. Now look at him. Everything going his way. 5 bagger to start. Don't forget 49ers Bears coming up here on ESPN 8:30 Eastern Time. As the ghosts of the Monsters of the Midway will be present, 2 of the NFL's most storied franchises meet. Brian Urlacher and the Bears welcome the Niners to historic Soldier Field. Also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Call your cable operator, DirecTV, or the Dish Network today.
And the Bears right now could use a little bit of what Danny Wiseman's got, and that's offense.
6 in a row.
Danny Wiseman smelling victory. Dave Ryan, he knows he has Patrick Allen on the ropes, and there's nothing Patrick Allen can do about it. One of the things that makes Danny such a great player is balance. He showed us last night his balance. Incredible amount of balance for Danny Wiseman. That's why he makes great shots. That's why he's a 10-time champion looking for his first major title.
He comes in high again. 4-pin stance avoids a split, and there's not much Patrick Allen can do right now, Randy. It's a freight train coming at him named Danny Wiseman.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to stop a freight train with a BB gun. It's not going to happen. And quite frankly, this was Danny Wiseman's tournament to lose. I mean, Danny mowed the field in match play. We talked about it at the top of the show. Nobody was better this week than Danny Wiseman.
Said back down to Beth Mowens.
Well, Patrick Allen, if nothing else, keeping his sense of humor, guys. He's calling for the car to bring someone in from the bullpen. Dave?
Question is, Beth, does he want a lefty or a righty? Well, Raleigh Fingers was a great reliever here in Milwaukee. He's a Hall of Famer. Along with Robin Yount, Don Sutton, Hank Aaron, Paul Malter, the former Brewers to be inducted into Cooperstown. Gets a break, 7-pin trip late. And Patrick Allen plays up to the crowd.
Looks like he moved a little bit further to the left. Nice release and rotation off his hand, and the little love tap on the 7-pin. And PA has to chalk this up to experience. I mean, you get in the middle of a title match, you lose your reaction. You've got to pull out all the stops and try to figure out a way to get back to the 1-2 or the 1-3 pocket.
Thinking 300, 7 in a row.
Remember the last game last night in his last match. He was perfect through 10 frames, left a ringing 10 for 289.
Checking the approach again.
This entire Miller High Life Masters presented by the American Bowling Congress, most of which took place at a different bowling center. So different surface, certainly. Same oil pattern. We had 200-300 games. As we talked about, Jason Couch, Brian Boghosian. That's it. Could we have another one here in the finals?
Come on.
Maybe.
Come on, Danny. What a way to win your first title, Dave Ryan. Or excuse me, your first major title. The front 8
in a row.
The front 8, Miller Park, in front of thousands. Danny Wiseman, perfection through 8 frames.
Now in baseball, when a pitcher has a no-hitter, look at the huge crowd reaction, 5,000 plus. Pitchers are left alone in the dugout. If you've got a no-no going, no one goes near you. You don't say a thing about it. You don't jinx it. As PA strikes finally on lane 4 of our 4-lane setup here. What is Danny Wiseman thinking right now?
Well, I've always been a big advocate of the least amount of thinking, the best. You don't want to overthink it. You don't want to think a lot of stuff. Just stay within yourself, go through your pre-shot routine, and focus on maybe a feel, what the ball feels like, what that perfect shot feels like out of your hand.
Well, he said he's overmatched in this game, but does rebound with a couple of strikes. What an incredible gathering we have here at Miller Park. Danny Wiseman is bidding for a 300 game to wrap up his first ever major. He would also earn a $10,000 bonus from the PBA, in addition to the $100,000. Coming his way with a win. Oh! 10-pin. Oh, he was urging it.
What a great shot. What a great performance for Danny Wiseman. He's going to let go of this one and get it a pinch right. Look at that little spin release. Look at it. Come on now. Ball comes in just a little bit behind the head pin, leaving the weak 10. But you know what? I'm sure that he's all right with that.
He'll take his 10-pin in his mark. Danny Wiseman, who was on the verge of leaving Milwaukee at the beginning of this event, said to us he's never been so fortunate as to just stick with it. He thought for a moment, hey, if I go back home, I can get some errands done. I can start working out again with my personal trainer. Maybe that would be better than staying on the road and watching the others compete. He is here. He is the winner. He's wrapped it up. 10-pin again for the champion.
That's pretty flat.
This guy really amazes me, Dave. I mean, he doesn't look like a whole lot, but Danny Wiseman gets it done week in and week out. I know he struggled last year, but, you know, he had some physical injuries that he was trying to fight through.
Things are brightening for Danny Wiseman, certainly. It will be his 11th PBA title. We're going to fast track through the end since it has been clinched. First ever major comes today for Danny Wiseman, who last year was ranked 28th, did not win on tour at all. Congratulations from Steve Miller and Fred Schreier. And a word back home to Dorothy Potter, his mom, stepdad Jerry Potter as well, watching in Baltimore.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Time out.
What's he got in store for us here?
It's been a long time for this one. I got it. I got it. Yeah!
Nice to see Danny turn it around after a dismal 2003-2004 season.
$100,000 to Danny Wiseman. 2-year PBA Tour exemption. His first ever major. We hear from our winner in Milwaukee next. Danny Wiseman has said winning a major a goal for every young bowler, and he has done that. Beth Mullins, what else does he have to say today?
Well, as we heard him just a moment ago say to his mom, he finally got his first major, 15th year on tour. Danny, what set you apart this weekend? You were so dominant.
Boy, I don't know. You know, everyone bowled so good. And I guess, you know, all summer I've been training hard. I'd like to special thank you to my trainer, Sam Donna, back home, man. 5 days a week, 2 hours a day. And, you know, I just feel strong. Stronger than I ever have felt, and it's helping me with my mental focus. And, you know, the lanes were very tough this week. You had to make shots. And the guys that got here, I mean, they were able to bear down and make the shots. And today, again, like last night, I was clueless. And I just said, you know what, just get up there and make the shot. You've done it all weekend. Do it. This is it. This is what it's about. So take advantage of it and do it.
All right, you did it, Danny. Congratulations on your first major championship. Dave?
Thank you. Succeeding Walter Ray Williams Jr. as the ABC Masters champion. What a day for the electrifying Danny Wiseman as he takes it in the final for Patrick Allen. Congratulations to him. Be sure to join us again next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. The PBA Chicago Open from Chicagoland. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on ESPN.com. For the entire crew, my partner Andy Peterson and Beth Mullins, it's Dave Ryan saying so long. What a day for Danny Wiseman.